Written and published by Mind Elixir. Chapter 1. The Longing We Leave Behind. Imagine for a moment the feeling of someone who was once an integral part of your daily life slipping out of reach, leaving behind only the echo of shared laughter, a hint of their scent in an old sweater, or the memory of a conversation that seemed unimportant until now. That quiet ache of someone's absence holds a strange power over us, doesn't it? There's a unique, almost sacred space left in the wake of someone we miss, a mixture of nostalgia, longing, and often unspoken admiration. But why do some people leave such an impression on us, while others fade into the background of our memories? It's not about the frequency of time spent together, nor is it solely about grand gestures or larger-than-life personalities. Rather, it's a more subtle, profound art, the art of being missed, a presence that extends far beyond the physical, a way of connecting that leaves an imprint on the soul. This chapter invites you to consider not just the people you miss, but the quality of what they left behind in you, and in doing so, to contemplate the impact you leave on others, often in ways you may not realize. Our lives are an intricate web of interactions, woven together by encounters, conversations, and shared moments, some fleeting and others enduring. Yet, only a select few connections resonate so deeply that their absence is felt as keenly as their presence. These people are not necessarily the ones who were with us the most often. They are the ones who managed to leave a part of themselves in us. There's a silent strength in the way they showed up, the warmth in their gaze, the sincerity of their words, or perhaps the simplicity of just being there in moments that mattered. Think of someone you miss deeply. Can you recall the last time you were together? Try to bring that memory into focus, the setting, the sounds, the small gestures. You'll likely find that it wasn't the event or place that mattered, but rather the feeling that person brought into that moment. They seemed to carry a weight, an awareness that permeated the space around them, creating a shared presence that felt deeply human, incredibly rare. They didn't just see you, they made you feel seen. This art, this ability to be missed, is cultivated in subtle, almost invisible ways, through the authenticity of one's presence and the honesty of one's connection with others. Consider, too, that the longing we feel for others often points us toward a deeper truth about ourselves. Missing someone has a curious way of highlighting what we value, revealing the qualities and experiences that truly matter to us. It strips away the superficial, the everyday small talk, and directs our attention to the heart of the relationship. Those moments of vulnerability, of laughter, of shared silence. Missing someone reminds us that we are deeply affected not just by what people say or do, but by how they make us feel about ourselves and about life. In this way, being missed is an act of transformation, a way of touching others that lingers, reshaping their understanding of connection and presence long after we've gone. And here lies the art of it. It's not about crafting an image or performing grand gestures. It's about embodying a sense of presence so genuine that it fills a room, a life, with meaning and value. This isn't something that can be faked or forced. It comes from a deep, mindful engagement with the world and those within it. In a world that often prizes superficial interactions, the art of being missed is a call to depth. It's a reminder that each moment carries the potential for meaningful impact if we choose to show up fully and authentically. Too often, we rush through conversations, glancing at our phones or allowing our minds to wander, half engaged in the present moment. We forget that presence is more than being physically there. It's about bringing our whole selves to each interaction, listening not just to respond, but to understand. The people we miss most often have a rare ability to do just that. They don't just occupy space, They create a connection that feels complete, whole, as if they are listening to a deeper part of us than most people notice. They give us the sense that for those brief moments, we are their priority, and in doing so, they become irreplaceable, creating memories that continue to resonate within us. Pause for a moment and reflect. What kind of presence do you bring to the lives of those around you? Do you truly listen? Do you see them in their raw, unfiltered essence, or are you content with surface-level exchanges that leave no trace? Imagine if, with each encounter, you approached others with the intention of leaving behind something positive, something that would stay with them even after you've gone. The art of being missed begins here, with the conscious choice to be fully present, to open yourself up, to see and be seen. It's about breaking free from the autopilot mode that governs so much of our lives, the mindless routines, the transactional conversations, and stepping into a more intentional way of relating to others. When we do this, we move beyond mere acquaintances and become part of each other's lives in ways that are felt, remembered, and cherished. Imagine a life where each interaction holds a touch of the profound, where your presence has a depth that touches others at their core. What would it look like to live each day as if every moment with another person could be the last? How might that change the way you approach even the smallest conversations, the quiet moments of silence shared with someone else? The art of being missed is not reserved for the few or the extraordinary. It's an invitation to live with a kind of intentionality and openness that brings beauty and depth to every relationship. And in this pursuit, you may find yourself not only missed, but also remembering others more profoundly, experiencing a life rich with meaning and connection. This art of leaving a mark, of becoming the kind of person who is missed, is deeply tied to vulnerability. We must be willing to share parts of ourselves, to show our true selves, without the armor or masks we so often wear. Vulnerability allows us to be authentic, to connect on a level that goes beyond words, beyond gestures, and reaches into the unspoken. Those we miss the most are often those who allowed themselves to be fully seen, who didn't shy away from sharing their fears, dreams, or imperfections. They offered a kind of truth that resonated with us, creating a bond of understanding that doesn't dissolve with distance or time. By embracing vulnerability, we invite others into our lives in a way that is both powerful and transformative, leaving behind something real and enduring. Consider what it would mean to live in such a way that others miss not only your presence, but the essence of who you are, the kindness you offer, the wisdom you share, the laughter you bring. The true art of being missed is in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that make others feel understood, valued, loved. It's the gentle ways in which we touch others, not through grand gestures, but through the quiet consistency of showing up as our truest selves. There is no formula or checklist for this. It is cultivated through a life lived with purpose and love, one small interaction at a time. Chapter 2. The Depth of Impact. As we move through life, a curious phenomenon occurs. Some people drift through our days and fade away without much trace, while others linger long after they're gone, casting a quiet shadow in our memories. It's not always the ones we see most often who leave this mark, nor is it those with whom we share the loudest, grandest moments. Instead, it's often those who've managed to touch us in subtler, almost imperceptible ways, creating a connection that goes beyond the immediate and reaches into something deeper, something more lasting. This depth of impact, this ability to resonate in another's life, is not an accident. but a deliberate presence, a way of living and engaging that turns every moment, however small, into an opportunity to forge something meaningful. Imagine every interaction as a brushstroke on the canvas of another person's life, each one building upon the last until a larger picture is created. Some brushstrokes may seem small, almost insignificant, but together they form the lasting image of who we are to each other, the person who stays in someone's mind, who is missed long after the moment ends. It's fascinating to think about what it is that makes some people leave such a profound impact. Part of it lies in how they navigate the spaces between words, the silences and the glances, the moments of stillness that many of us overlook. These individuals are comfortable with presence itself, with simply being there in a way that feels whole and complete. They don't need to fill the silence with noise or cover vulnerability with distractions. Instead, they hold space, allowing others to feel understood, valued, and seen. This kind of presence requires a certain quiet strength, a confidence that doesn't demand attention but draws it naturally, a way of showing up that says, "I am here fully for you." It's not loud or overwhelming, and yet it stays with us, resonating far beyond the moment. This is a depth of impact that requires nothing grand. It only asks that we be fully present, that we offer our attention not as a fleeting courtesy, but as a profound act of connection. The essence of connection, of truly being there for someone, is a rare thing in a world so consumed by distractions and surface-level interactions. Too often, we treat connection as something transactional. "I'll listen to you if you listen to me," or "I'll pay attention to you if you do something interesting." But those who leave an indelible mark in our lives approach connection differently. For them, connection is not about what they get from it, but about what they give. They listen with a depth that goes beyond words, tuning into the unspoken, the small nuances of tone, expression, and energy. They don't listen merely to reply, but to understand, to feel with you. And in this act of listening, they create a bond that feels incredibly rare, a gift that is in essence the offering of themselves. When someone listens to us this way, truly listens, they leave something with us, a feeling of being valued, cherished even, and this is why their absence leaves a void. They've given us a piece of their attention, their care, their essence, and that gift, however subtle, lingers. Consider the relationships in your life and think about those who have truly made an impact on you. It's not just the grand gestures that you remember, though they may stand out. It's the small, often unnoticed moments. The way someone held your hand when you needed comfort, the quiet nod of understanding when words failed, or the warmth in their gaze that told you that, in that moment, you were all that mattered. These are the interactions that build the foundation of true connection, a kind of connection that is rarely forgotten. It's easy to think that impact requires something overt, something dramatic. But more often, it is these subtle moments filled with care and presence that last. They weave together over time, forming a fabric of memory that endures. In this way, being missed is not about a single moment, but about a series of quiet, intentional choices to show up, to give of oneself, to be there in a way that is deeply human and profoundly rare. When we reflect on those we miss, we often find ourselves longing not just for the person, but for the feeling they brought into our lives. There's a certain warmth, a lightness that they carried, or perhaps a sense of security, of feeling truly understood, that is irreplaceable. This feeling is the product of a connection that goes beyond the ordinary, beyond the social niceties and the usual give and take. Those who impact us the most are those who somehow manage to be entirely themselves with us, inviting us in turn to be entirely ourselves with them. They don't hide behind facades or pretenses. They bring their authentic self to the relationship, flaws and all, creating a safe space for us to do the same. This authenticity, this willingness to be real, leaves a lasting impression, for it speaks to a deeper part of us, a part that yearns for connection without conditions, without the need to be anything other than who we are. The art of leaving an impact, of being missed, lies not in perfection but in presence. It's about showing up as you are, being there in a way that is honest and real. It's the willingness to look someone in the eye and say, "I'm here with you." Not because you have to be, but because you choose to be. This choice, this act of giving our undivided attention, is a rarity. And perhaps that's why it feels so significant when it happens. In a world where so many interactions are rushed, where we're often more focused on what's next rather than what's now, the act of fully showing up, of choosing to be here, is a gift. And this is a gift that leaves a mark, a gift that is remembered. Those who practice this art know that being missed is not about having all the answers or being a certain kind of person. It's about giving of themselves, offering the gift of their presence as a quiet act of love. As you think about the impact you wish to have on others, remember that it's often the simplest things that create the deepest connections. It's the unspoken understanding, the shared silence, the feeling that, for a few precious moments, someone sees you as you truly are and accepts you completely. This is the essence of connection, the kind of connection that lingers long after the person has left. To be missed is to have created a space in someone's life that no one else can fill, not because of what you did or said, but because of how you made them feel. This feeling, this depth of impact, is an invitation to live with a little more care, a little more intention, to see every interaction as a chance to be fully present. And in doing so, you may find that you leave behind something far more valuable than words, a piece of yourself that remains, a gift that continues to touch lives in ways you may never fully realize. Chapter 3. The silent power of absence. Absence in its own quiet way holds a profound power. There's an undeniable presence in absence, an unspoken reminder of something or someone that once filled a space with life, connection, and meaning. When someone leaves, their absence does not immediately create emptiness. Instead, it leaves behind echoes, memories, and a lingering sense of the life they once shared with us. It's a paradox. We often don't realize how significant someone's presence is until it transforms into absence. This phenomenon of absence as presence is a force that shapes our memories and molds our affections, compelling us to recognize the essence of what mattered most about that person. Absence has the uncanny ability to make us long for moments we may have taken for granted, to sharpen our awareness of the subtleties that once wove our lives together. In this chapter, we explore the ways in which the quiet, almost invisible power of absence reveals the depth of our connections and teaches us the art of lasting impact without words or gestures, only with the residue of a life shared, a presence felt. Absence serves as a mirror, reflecting the aspects of a relationship that impacted us the most. Think of someone who is no longer in your life. They might have been a friend, a family member, or perhaps a loved one you saw every day. When they were around, you likely felt their presence in a multitude of ways: their laugh, the way they listened, the subtle gestures that only they could bring into your life. But it's in their absence that these details take on a weight they didn't seem to have before. Suddenly, their laugh becomes more vivid in your memory. Their way of being with you feels irreplaceable, and the unique ways they touched your life stand out in sharp relief. Absence makes the small things grand, turning fleeting moments into lasting symbols of connection. This transformative power of absence is something we rarely consider while immersed in the presence of others. Yet it has a way of helping us understand who truly mattered to us. and in turn invites us to consider how we might cultivate such presence in our own lives. Absence, in essence, strips away the superficial, leaving only what is true and real. It removes the distractions, the surface interactions, and reveals the core of the relationship that remains when everything else fades. In this way, absence is a clarifier. It forces us to sift through our memories and emotions, to separate what was merely convenient or routine from what was deeply meaningful. This process can be painful, but it's also profoundly enlightening. We begin to see that the people we miss the most are those who gave us a sense of belonging, who offered us their genuine selves, and who left an imprint on our lives not by trying to be missed, but by being wholly, authentically themselves. This revelation is a call to embody such authenticity in our own lives, to live in a way that touches others, not with fanfare but with genuine presence, so that even in our absence, something meaningful remains. Absence also holds a unique power over time. While memories may fade, there are some aspects of a person's presence that time cannot diminish. These aspects linger in our hearts, defying the passage of time, continuing to resonate in ways that can be startlingly immediate. You may have felt this before. A person you haven't seen in years suddenly comes to mind, and it's as if they're right there with you, their influence as palpable as ever. This phenomenon speaks to the intangible quality of presence that goes beyond physical reality, a kind of timeless connection that absence only serves to reinforce. Such memories often rise to the surface unbidden, in a quiet moment, or when you're reminded of them by a scent, a song, or a place. These moments of recalled presence are like silent visits from those we miss, and they remind us that true impact transcends physical boundaries. The art of being missed, therefore, is not about being unforgettable in the literal sense, but about living in a way that leaves a mark so deep that it weathers the currents of time and remains in the hearts of others. In the silence that absence creates, we often find ourselves reaching out in our minds, searching for traces of the person who left. This reaching is a testament to the human need for connection and a reminder of how profoundly others affect us. When someone is gone, their absence allows us to revisit our memories, to reflect on the ways they touched our lives and perhaps even shaped who we are. Absence grants us the space to honor the parts of them that now live on within us. Their kindness, their wisdom, their laughter, or perhaps even their challenges, which pushed us to grow in ways we hadn't anticipated. These reflections are not merely sentimental, they are transformative. They invite us to carry forward the essence of those we miss, to let their impact continue to guide us, even in their physical absence. This is a legacy that lives on in silence, in the spaces between our thoughts, reminding us of the power we hold to touch others in ways that last far beyond our time together. Absence is often the birthplace of longing, a feeling that is both deeply human and incredibly powerful. Longing is more than a wish for someone's presence. It's a recognition of the irreplaceable qualities they brought into our lives. It's the understanding that, in some ways, their presence filled a space within us that now feels empty, even if only temporarily. This longing is not something to be feared or avoided. Rather, it is something to be understood. It teaches us about our own hearts, about the unique ways we connect with others, and about the kinds of relationships that truly fulfill us. Through this lens, absence becomes a teacher, showing us what we value most, not by providing it, but by withholding it, allowing us to feel the weight of what is missing. In this sense, absence is a profound gift. It awakens us to our own capacity to love, to connect, and to miss, revealing the depths of our attachments and the true meaning of presence. The art of being missed, then, is closely tied to the subtle power of absence. Those who master this art do not seek to leave a mark by demanding attention or asserting themselves constantly. Instead, they understand that the most lasting impact often comes from quiet, consistent presence. From the moments when they choose to be fully there, offering their attention, their empathy, their understanding. They live in a way that naturally leaves traces, so that when they are gone, their absence is felt not because they were always at the center of attention, but because they made others feel seen, valued, and understood. This approach to connection is not about creating dependency or yearning. It's about offering something so genuine, so quietly significant, that it resonates in the lives of others, even when words and gestures are no longer possible. It's about living in a way that plants seeds of memory, seeds that grow and flourish in the minds and hearts of those we leave behind. In a world that often encourages us to make a name for ourselves, to be remembered for grand accomplishments, the art of being missed is a quieter, more intimate pursuit. It's about touching lives in ways that are less visible, less celebrated, but no less profound. Those who leave this kind of impact do so not by striving to be remembered, but by offering the gift of themselves without expectation. They do not seek recognition, yet their absence leaves a gap that others feel deeply. This paradox, the power of presence through absence, is one of the great mysteries of human connection, and it reminds us that what truly matters in life is not how often we are seen or heard, but how deeply we are felt. The legacy we leave is woven from countless moments of quiet kindness, compassion, and authenticity, each one a thread in the tapestry of memory that others carry with them. The silence of absence is a profound teacher, urging us to recognize the power of the intangible, the unseen, the subtle. It reminds us that presence is more than physical closeness. It's an emotional and spiritual connection that transcends time and space. To be missed is to have given something of ourselves that cannot be replaced, something that lingers, that grows in the hearts and minds of others long after we are gone. And in this understanding, we come to realize that the art of being missed is not about grand gestures or monumental achievements. It is about the simple, enduring gift of being fully, authentically present in the lives of others. Chapter 4. Presence in every interaction. There is something transformative about a person who is truly present. In a world filled with constant distractions, endless tasks, and an ever-growing list of things that demand our attention, genuine presence has become a rare and precious commodity. When someone offers us their full attention, we feel it immediately. It's as though for a brief moment nothing else exists but that shared space between us. This feeling of being completely seen, of being listened to without interruption or judgment, is one of the most powerful gifts we can give each other. It's not simply about being in the same physical space. It's about bringing one's entire self to the moment, focusing fully on the other person, and allowing a connection to develop that is rooted in authenticity and mutual understanding. In these moments of complete presence, we feel more than just a connection. We feel valued, understood, and often profoundly touched. This is the art of showing up with intention, of choosing to be in a moment with our whole selves, not just as participants, but as creators of a meaningful experience that will linger in memory. Being truly present requires us to let go of the distractions that pull us in 1,000 different directions. It means setting aside the incessant need to check our phones, the habit of letting our minds wander to unfinished tasks, and the temptation to plan our responses before someone has even finished speaking. Presence is an act of surrender, a choice to let go of everything outside of this moment, and to give ourselves fully to what's happening right here, right now. When we do this, we create a space of safety and trust, a space where others feel free to be themselves without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. It's in this space that the most meaningful connections are made, where people can reveal their true selves, and where we, in turn, can show up as our most authentic selves. To offer this kind of presence is to give a gift that is far more valuable than any material possession, a gift that says, "I am here with you fully, and you are worthy of my time and attention." This practice of presence is not easy. It requires a level of self-awareness and discipline that most of us are not accustomed to. We live in a world that encourages us to multitask, to constantly be productive, to think about the next thing, even as we're doing the current one. But in doing so, we miss the richness of the moment, the subtle beauty that arises when we are fully engaged with life as it is happening. When we choose to be present, we are choosing to give up the illusion of control, to let go of the endless planning and worrying, and to embrace the uncertainty of the now. This can feel uncomfortable at first, but as we practice it, we begin to notice a profound shift. We start to experience life more vividly, to connect with others more deeply, and to find meaning in moments that would otherwise pass us by. Presence, then, is not just a gift we give to others. It's a gift we give to ourselves, a way of experiencing life that is richer, fuller, and infinitely more satisfying. Imagine the impact of bringing this level of presence to every interaction in your life. Picture yourself sitting with a friend, not just listening to their words, but tuning into the emotions behind those words, sensing their unspoken feelings, and responding not just with words, but with your whole being. Think of the depth of connection that arises when you look into someone's eyes and let them know, without saying a word, that you are fully with them, that you are seeing them as they are, without any expectation or judgment. These are the moments that people remember, the moments that linger long after the conversation has ended. When we are present in this way, we create memories that are rooted in authenticity, memories that others will carry with them and think of long after we are gone. This is the art of true connection, a way of being that goes beyond words, beyond actions, and reaches into the very core of human interaction. To cultivate this kind of presence, we must learn to value quality over quantity in our relationships. In our fast-paced world, there is a tendency to believe that more is better, that the more people we know and the more interactions we have, the more fulfilled we will be. But the truth is that real fulfillment comes not from the number of connections, but from the depth of those connections. One moment of true, undivided attention is worth more than hours of distracted conversation. When we choose to prioritize depth, we begin to see our relationships transform. We no longer seek out interactions for the sake of filling time or because it's what's expected. We engage with others because we want to, because we recognize the value of genuine connection. And in doing so, we become the kind of people others want to be around, the kind of people who leave a lasting impression, not because we are always present, but because when we are fully there. Presence also requires us to be comfortable with silence, with the spaces in between words, with moments that might feel empty if we were distracted, but that are filled with meaning when we are fully engaged. In these moments of silence, we find a depth that is often lost in conversation. We come to understand that sometimes the most profound connections are made not through words, but through shared silence, through the quiet understanding that arises when two people are simply together, without the need to fill the space with sound. This silence is not an absence. It's a presence in itself, a presence that speaks volumes. When we are comfortable with silence, we allow others to relax into themselves, to feel safe in our company, knowing that they do not have to perform or entertain us. They can simply be, and we can be with them, sharing a moment of true connection that requires nothing more than our presence. The art of presence is also about empathy, about tuning into the feelings and needs of others in a way that is both gentle and powerful. When we are truly present, we begin to see beyond the surface, to sense the struggles and joys that lie beneath the words and actions of those around us. This empathy allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to offer comfort when they need it, to celebrate with them in moments of joy, and to be a steady source of support in times of difficulty. Empathy is not about trying to fix someone's problems or offering solutions. It's about being with them in their experience, about acknowledging their feelings and offering them the space to feel what they need to feel. This kind of presence is healing. It has the power to bring comfort and solace in a way that words often cannot. And in offering this gift to others, we create bonds that are lasting and meaningful, bonds that will be remembered long after we have gone. To practice presence is to embrace the vulnerability that comes with truly seeing and being seen. It requires us to let down our guard, to put aside our own agenda, and to show up as we are, open and receptive to the other person. This vulnerability is what makes presence so powerful. It allows for a connection that is honest and real. When we are willing to be vulnerable, we invite others to do the same, creating a space of mutual trust and respect. This is where the magic of presence happens, in the moments when we allow ourselves to be fully open, to share our true selves, and to accept the other person as they are. In this space, we find a connection that is both profound and enduring, a connection that has the power to transform lives and to leave a lasting legacy of love and understanding. The art of presence is not about being perfect or always knowing the right thing to say or do. It's about showing up with a genuine heart, with the intention to connect, to understand, and to be there for the people in our lives. It's about making the choice again and again to be present, to give our full attention, and to offer the gift of our time and energy. This is a choice that we make not only for others, but for ourselves, for in the act of being present, we find a deeper sense of purpose, a greater appreciation for the beauty of each moment, and a richer, more fulfilling experience of life. Presence is an art, one that requires practice and patience, but it is also a gift, one that enriches both the giver and the receiver. And in choosing to cultivate this art, we become the kind of people who are truly missed, the kind of people who leave a legacy not of things or achievements, but of love, connection, and meaning. Chapter 5. Living with Purpose and Integrity. There's an undeniable force in a life that is lived with purpose, a quiet yet profound power that radiates from those who are anchored by a deep sense of meaning and integrity. These individuals move through the world with an intentionality that is palpable, a sense of direction that doesn't waver in the face of setbacks or the temptations of trivial distractions. Purpose is not simply a goal or a series of tasks to accomplish. It is the guiding principle that shapes our choices, our values, and ultimately, the legacy we leave behind. To live with purpose is to live with an awareness of what truly matters, a commitment to something greater than oneself that resonates in each decision and every interaction. It is this quality that makes people unforgettable, that allows them to be missed not just for what they did, but for who they were, for the unique contribution they made to the lives they touched. Integrity, on the other hand, is the backbone of purpose. It is the steadfast adherence to our core values, even when no one is watching, even when it would be easier to stray from the path we've set for ourselves. Integrity is the invisible foundation upon which a life of purpose is built, a quiet strength that doesn't need applause or recognition. People who embody integrity are often those we admire deeply, not because they are perfect, but because they are consistent, because they remain true to themselves in a world that constantly urges us to compromise, to bend our principles for convenience, for approval, or for gain. These are the people who inspire us, who make us believe that it's possible to live a life that is not only successful in worldly terms, but also deeply fulfilling. a life that resonates with authenticity and truth. They remind us that while the world may reward quick wins and shortcuts, the true measure of a person is found in their commitment to their values, in their willingness to stand by what they believe in, even when it's difficult. Living with purpose and integrity is not an easy path. It requires a level of self-reflection and honesty that can often be uncomfortable. To truly understand our purpose, we must first understand ourselves. To dive deep into our desires, our fears, our strengths, and our weaknesses. This process demands that we face the parts of ourselves we may prefer to ignore, that we confront the limitations and insecurities that hold us back. But in this journey of self-discovery, we uncover a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly want out of life. Purpose is rarely something that comes to us fully formed. It is something that is discovered gradually, shaped by our experiences, our challenges, and our growth. As we peel back the layers of who we think we are, we begin to reveal the core of who we truly are. The part of us that is driven not by fear or ego, but by a sincere desire to contribute, to create, to connect. It is from this place that true purpose arises. A purpose that is not imposed by society or shaped by external expectations, but is instead a reflection of our innermost values and dreams. Integrity, too, is something that is developed over time, a quality that is cultivated through countless small choices and quiet moments of truth. Every time we choose to act in alignment with our values, we strengthen our integrity, building a foundation of trust not only with others, but with ourselves. Integrity is not about being perfect. It is about being honest, about recognizing when we fall short and having the courage to make amends, to recommit to our values. People who embody integrity are often those who inspire a deep sense of respect, not because they are infallible, but because they are willing to own their mistakes, to learn from them, and to continue striving to be better. They remind us that integrity is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires humility, resilience, and a willingness to grow. And in a world where so many people wear masks, where appearances often take precedence over authenticity, integrity shines as a beacon of truth, a quality that resonates deeply with those around us. The combination of purpose and integrity creates a kind of magnetic presence, a quiet power that draws people in, that makes them feel both inspired and at ease. Those who live with purpose and integrity don't need to demand respect. They earn it through their actions, through the way they show up in the world. Their lives serve as a testament to the possibilities that open up when we align our actions with our values, when we choose to pursue a path that is not always easy, but is always true. These individuals remind us of what is possible, of the depth and richness that life can offer when we commit to something greater than ourselves. They leave a lasting impression not by seeking admiration or approval, but by being fully, unapologetically themselves. This is the art of leaving a legacy, of being missed, not just for what we did, but for the way we lived, for the example we set, for the values we embodied. When we live with purpose, we infuse our lives with a sense of direction and meaning that is deeply fulfilling. A sense of fulfillment that cannot be achieved through external success alone. Purpose gives us a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to keep going when things get tough, a reason to push through the obstacles that inevitably arise on any meaningful journey. It anchors us, grounding us in something solid and unshakable, something that cannot be taken away by circumstances or setbacks. And when we pair this purpose with integrity, we create a foundation of trust and respect that is felt by everyone we encounter. This combination of purpose and integrity is what makes us unforgettable, what allows us to leave a lasting impact, not because we were trying to be memorable, but because we were true to ourselves. because we chose to live in a way that was meaningful and aligned with our deepest values. Living with purpose and integrity requires courage. The courage to be different, to stand out, to choose a path that is often less traveled. It requires the willingness to say no to things that do not align with our values, even when it's tempting to say yes, even when saying yes would make life easier. It requires a commitment to something greater than ourselves, a commitment to live in a way that is honest, authentic, and true. This kind of life is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It is a life that leaves a legacy that is not defined by titles or accomplishments, but by the impact we had on others, by the lives we touched, by the values we stood for. And in the end, this is what truly matters. The mark we leave not on the world in a broad sense, but on the hearts and minds of those we loved, of those who loved us. To live with purpose and integrity is to live a life of depth and meaning, a life that resonates long after we are gone. It is a way of being that invites others to do the same, that inspires them to seek out their own purpose, to live with their own integrity. It is a life that is felt, that is remembered, that is missed. And in the end, this is the legacy that we leave, not one of things or accomplishments, but of values, of love, of a life lived fully and authentically. This is the true art of being missed, of leaving a mark that endures, a mark that continues to touch lives long after we are gone. And in this way, we become not just a memory, but a presence that lives on, a reminder of what is possible, of what it means to live a life that truly matters. Chapter 6. Embracing Change and Letting Go. Change is the one constant in life, a force that sweeps through every relationship, every experience, transforming what was once familiar into something unknown, sometimes unexpected and often unpredictable. For many, change is synonymous with loss. It signals the end of something we held dear, whether it's a relationship, a stage of life, or a cherished routine. But there is a hidden beauty in change, a quiet wisdom that teaches us the art of letting go and embracing the impermanence of all things. To master this art is to understand that nothing in life is truly permanent, that every person we meet, every moment we experience, is fleeting, like sand slipping through our fingers. The power of change lies not in what it takes from us, but in what it leaves behind. A deeper understanding of ourselves, a renewed sense of resilience, and perhaps, most importantly, an appreciation for the people and experiences that shaped us. In learning to let go, we discover that loss is not an end, but a transformation, a way of allowing what was to become part of who we are as we continue forward, changed but not diminished. When we think of those we miss, we often think of the relationships that have faded, the friendships that have shifted, or the loved ones we no longer see. Change comes into our lives like a slow, gentle tide, sometimes carrying people to new places, new stages of life, and away from us. It is only in their absence that we begin to understand the weight of their presence, to recognize the depth of the imprint they left on our lives. This realization brings with it a bittersweet lesson that every person who comes into our lives leaves something behind, whether it's a shared memory, a lesson learned, or a moment of joy. And as they move on, as life takes them in different directions, we are left with the quiet task of honoring those connections, of remembering them not with longing or regret, but with gratitude for the role they played in our journey. This is the art of letting go, of releasing our hold on the past while carrying forward the essence of those relationships, allowing them to live on within us, shaping who we are and who we become. Letting go is often seen as a loss, as if we are giving up something precious. But in truth, letting go is a gift a way of making space for new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities to grow. When we hold on to the past too tightly, we close ourselves off to the possibilities that lie ahead. We cling to memories, to people, to moments, believing that by holding on, we can somehow keep them alive. Yet, in doing so, we deny ourselves the beauty of the present, the richness of what is unfolding right now. To let go is not to forget or to erase. It is to make peace with the past, to allow it to rest in its place while we move forward with an open heart. This act of release is one of the most powerful forms of strength, a quiet courage that says, "I am grateful for what was, but I am ready for what will be." In this way, letting go becomes a path to freedom, a way of embracing the natural flow of life and allowing ourselves to be fully present in each new moment, each new chapter. Embracing change means accepting that life is a series of beginnings and endings, each one preparing us for the next. When we look back on our lives, we can see this pattern clearly. The friendships that came and went, the seasons of life that passed, the dreams we once held close, that eventually shifted into new aspirations. Each ending, though painful at times, served a purpose, teaching us something about resilience, about growth, about the beauty of transition. Those we miss, those we had to let go of, were part of a larger journey, one that shaped us in ways we might not have understood at the time. And now, as we stand in the present, we can look back and see that each goodbye, each moment of release, was a stepping stone, a bridge that led us to where we are now. Embracing change is about seeing these moments not as losses, but as transformations, as opportunities to expand, to deepen, and to discover new aspects of ourselves. It is about understanding that every ending carries within it the seeds of a new beginning, a chance to rewrite our story and to continue growing in ways we never anticipated. There is a profound wisdom in learning to let go of things gracefully, to allow change to move through our lives without resistance. Often, we resist change because we fear the unknown, because we worry that letting go means losing a part of ourselves. But in reality, letting go is an act of self-compassion, a way of honoring our need to evolve, to shed what no longer serves us, and to make room for what is yet to come. By releasing our grip on the past, we open ourselves to the present, to the richness of life as it is, not as we wish it were. We learn to trust in the natural rhythms of life, to believe that whatever comes next will carry its own beauty, its own lessons, and its own opportunities for connection. This trust is not always easy to cultivate, but it is the foundation of a life lived with grace and acceptance. In letting go, we find peace, a sense of liberation that frees us from the weight of expectations and attachments, allowing us to move forward with a sense of openness and possibility. The art of embracing change is also about accepting ourselves as we evolve, recognizing that we too are constantly changing. The person we were yesterday is not the same as the person we are today, nor will we be the same tomorrow. This continuous evolution is part of the beauty of being human, a journey of self-discovery that never truly ends. As we change, our relationships change with us, adapting to our new understandings, our shifting priorities, and our growing sense of self. Sometimes, this means that certain connections will naturally fall away, that some people will no longer fit into our lives as they once did. This is not a failure or a loss. It is simply the nature of growth. By accepting our own evolution, we create the space to allow others to do the same, to release the need for things to remain as they were, and to embrace the fluidity of life. In this way, change becomes a partner in our journey, a gentle reminder that growth is a natural part of life, that endings are not to be feared but celebrated as milestones on our path. Letting go and embracing change are acts of profound humility, an acknowledgement that we do not have control over everything, that life has its own rhythm, its own wisdom. This humility allows us to approach life with a sense of wonder, to view each change not as a disruption, but as a new chapter, a new opportunity to learn, to grow, and to connect in different ways. It is this perspective that helps us to move forward without bitterness or regret, to carry the essence of those we have loved, those we have lost, in a way that honors their impact on our lives without holding us back. We come to understand that the people we miss, the moments we cherished, are not gone. They are simply part of the fabric of who we are, woven into our memories, our stories, and our hearts. And as we continue forward, we carry them with us, not as weights, but as gifts, as reminders of the love, the laughter, and the lessons that shaped us. In embracing change and letting go, we learn to live with a sense of lightness, a freedom that comes from knowing that we are not bound by the past. This freedom allows us to approach each day with fresh eyes, to meet each new person, each new experience, without the burden of old expectations or lingering attachments. We become open to the possibility of new connections, new moments of joy, new opportunities for growth. And in doing so, we begin to see life not as a series of losses, but as a continuous unfolding, a journey filled with countless beginnings and endings, each one bringing its own unique beauty, its own chance for transformation. This is the gift of change, the quiet magic that turns endings into beginnings, that transforms goodbyes into gateways to new chapters. Embracing this magic allows us to live fully, to love deeply, and to let go with grace, knowing that each moment, each person, and each experience is a precious part of the journey, one that we carry forward in our hearts, forever shaping the person we are becoming. Chapter 7. The Legacy We Craft Daily. When we reflect on our lives, we realize that every action, every word, every gesture we make contributes to a larger story, one that we may never fully grasp, but one that will shape how we are remembered. This legacy is not a monument or a grand achievement, but a quiet, steady presence we build daily through our choices, our values, and our willingness to be present for others. Each day, we lay down another thread in the tapestry of our lives, a tapestry that is woven from the small, often overlooked moments of kindness, patience, and courage. Our legacy, the way in which we will be missed, is created not through monumental acts, but through the consistency with which we live our values, the sincerity with which we connect with others, and the love we extend in ordinary ways. As we go through our days, often caught up in the routines and demands of life, it's easy to lose sight of this quiet power. But when we stop and consider the impact of a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a moment of true presence, we begin to see that it is in these simple acts that we leave our most profound mark. A legacy is not something we consciously create with every interaction. Rather, it is something that arises organically from the way we choose to live, the choices we make when no one is watching, the values we uphold even when it's difficult. Those who leave a lasting impact are often those who live with integrity, who understand that each moment carries weight, that each interaction is an opportunity to offer something meaningful to another person. They don't live with the intention of being remembered. They live with the intention of being present, of giving freely of themselves, of making each moment count. This is what makes them unforgettable, what causes their absence to be felt long after they're gone. It's not about perfection or a flawless record of achievements. It's about the honesty and authenticity with which they showed up in the world, the way they made others feel seen, valued, and understood. In this way, legacy becomes not a destination, but a byproduct of a life well lived, a natural result of choices made from a place of love, compassion, and a commitment to something greater than oneself. Each of us has the power to create a legacy that matters, not by striving for recognition or accolades, but by embracing the quiet, everyday moments of connection that make life meaningful. When we choose to listen deeply, to offer our undivided attention, to be there for others in moments of joy and sorrow, we are laying the foundation of something that will be remembered. These acts may seem small, even insignificant at times, but they accumulate over a lifetime, forming a mosaic of kindness, generosity, and presence that will be missed when we are no longer here. It's easy to overlook the impact of these moments, to dismiss them as trivial or fleeting. Yet, when we look back, it's often these very moments that stand out the most. The times when someone took the time to listen, to show up, to offer a helping hand. These are the moments that remain, that linger in our memories, shaping our understanding of what it means to live a life that truly matters. To craft a legacy is also to embrace vulnerability, to allow ourselves to be open and real with others. It is in our willingness to share our true selves, our struggles and triumphs alike, that we create bonds that last. Those who leave a legacy are not those who hid behind facades of perfection, but those who showed up as they were, who allowed others to see them in their wholeness, flaws, and all. In this vulnerability, they created spaces where others felt safe to be themselves, where they could lay down their own burdens, if only for a moment. This is the gift of authenticity, a gift that lingers long after the person has left, a reminder of the power of showing up honestly and wholeheartedly. It's not about being flawless, it's about being real, about allowing others to see the full spectrum of who we are, and in doing so, giving them permission to do the same. In a world that often prizes appearances, this kind of honesty is rare, and it is precisely this rarity that makes it unforgettable, that makes its absence so deeply felt. Living a life that leaves a legacy is also about embracing empathy, about recognizing the shared humanity in each person we encounter. Empathy allows us to connect with others on a level that goes beyond words, a level that speaks to the heart. Those who are missed most often are those who showed empathy in their interactions, who made others feel understood, who listened not just to respond, but to truly hear. Empathy is a quiet power, one that doesn't seek attention, but has a profound impact on those it touches. It allows us to see beyond our own perspective, to connect with the feelings, struggles, and experiences of others in a way that is both healing and transformative. In practicing empathy, we create a legacy of kindness, a legacy that reminds others that they are not alone in their journey. And it is this legacy, this feeling of being truly seen and understood, that is remembered, that is cherished long after we are gone. To leave a legacy is also to live with a sense of purpose, a sense of direction that guides our choices and actions. Purpose is not about rigid goals or a set destination. It's about a guiding principle, a commitment to something meaningful that drives us forward. Those who live with purpose are often those who are missed most profoundly, not because they were constantly striving for achievements, but because they were clear about what mattered to them and they lived in alignment with those values. Purpose gives us the courage to make choices that are true to ourselves, to stand by our beliefs even when it's difficult, and to contribute something positive to the world. It is a source of resilience, a well of strength that allows us to persevere in the face of challenges, to continue moving forward even when the path is uncertain. And when we live with purpose, we inspire others to do the same, to seek out their own path, their own meaning. This is the legacy of purpose, a legacy that touches lives in ways that are subtle yet deeply significant. A reminder that life is not just about existing, but about living with intention, about leaving behind something that will continue to grow and thrive long after we are gone. As we live our lives, we are constantly creating memories, experiences, and connections that will one day become our legacy. Each day, each interaction is an opportunity to add another thread to this tapestry, to create something beautiful and lasting. This doesn't require grand gestures or monumental acts. It requires only a willingness to be present, to show up fully, to live each moment with a sense of gratitude and awareness. Legacy is not something we build overnight. It is the accumulation of countless small moments, each one contributing to the larger picture of who we are and how we will be remembered. And as we approach each day with this awareness, we begin to see that every moment holds the potential to make a difference, to touch a life, to create something that will linger in the hearts of those we leave behind. This is the true art of being missed, a quiet yet powerful way of living that honors both ourselves and those we encounter. In the end, the legacy we leave is not about what we did or what we achieved, but about who we were and how we made others feel. It is about the kindness we showed, the compassion we offered, the love we shared. This is the legacy that endures, the legacy that will be remembered not for its grandeur, but for its depth. And as we move forward, let us carry this awareness with us. Let us live in a way that honors this truth, that reminds us that we have the power to create a life that is meaningful, a life that will be missed, not because of what we had or accomplished, but because of the love and presence we brought into the world. This is the legacy we leave, a legacy woven from moments of connection, kindness, and authenticity. A legacy that will continue to touch lives, to inspire, to remind others of what truly matters long after we are gone.